That's very difficult because there was a lot of fun stuff, and Josh is so easy to work with that every day was really awesome. And I'm not blowing smoke. Like Josh was just so incredible to work with.
Hey Jeremy, how you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal. How are you guys?
Good, thanks. Thank
Good.
you so much for taking the time to do this and share your time with us. We're excited to chat about London Calling.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I thought this was such a funny movie. The humor that you and Josh share in this movie is so effortless. This chemistry you have with your friendship is great. So such a great watch. Congratulations. I can't wait for everyone else to see it when it comes out.
Yeah, thank you so much. We can't wait either, for sure.
Well, throughout the film, there's various points in which your character Julian and Josh's character Tommy become more accepting of each other, kind of making each other feel seen in ways other people in their lives haven't. I was hoping we could get your perspective from either reading the script or during filming on which moment in the film you truly felt that shift in Julian and Tommy's relationship and friendship.
That's really tough. That's a good question. I haven't been asked that at all, actually. I think it's definitely very gradual, and I think, for lack of a better term, it's like our first kill. And I think that Josh really wants to accept me, and he kind of refuses to because he has his kid, and he doesn't want to open up in that way because he wants to be a man as well. And so I think that when he realizes that I'm just kind of like an innocent heart, and I am really trying to impress my dad, which is something that will never happen, unfortunately. I think that he starts to take that role on as a father figure, and he's like, "Wow, you're like really had a bad life." And I think it's the diner scene for sure, where we're having like dinner together, and he's like, "Whoa, like your dad actually sucks. Wow, like you're not just an idiot, you're just hated for sure."
One of my favorite lines you actually have between the two of you is when you say the line, strawberries aren't berries, but bananas are, something to do with the seeds. And I think that scene is so funny because Tommy kind of just looks at Julian like, what is going on?
Yeah, we actually had like 4 or 5 different alternates for that line. I think the original one was that koala bears aren't actually bears. And I was like, I just want to come up with like a bunch of different ones, and like we'll see which one makes the most sense. That was a really hard scene to get through, because it's so funny. That whole weird thing is so funny. And so we had to film that more than a few times, where me and Josh would both just freaking break, of course.
Well, I think you picked the perfect line for it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, kind of talking about your past work and tying it into this, you've gone from battling clowns to spooky Halloween chaos, now being mentored by a hitman. Do you think your past work kind of helped you tap into the intensity of this role? And do you tend to gravitate to roles where your characters are pushed out of their comfort zones so much?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we were talking about this earlier. It's kind of weird to think about like the evilness of Pennywise versus like a person who's just evil. That's really interesting, and how one is because he was created to be that way, and one is just like an evil person. And so they're two very different things for sure, but at the heart of it, it's the same. You're scared of this being, just for different reasons. And so yeah, absolutely. I think I've always wanted to do action. That's kind of like where I kind of came from. I just directed a military short film a while ago for PTSD, and so this is always kind of something that I've wanted to do. And so I've kind of been practicing, just waiting for that opportunity to arise. So yeah, I absolutely for sure. Especially the bullying stuff with like actual choreography and actual fighting. I think that helps for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the choreographing of these fights are so difficult and you guys pulled it off so well. So congrats on getting into that action world a little bit more.
Thank you so much.
I also want to add a big part of this film is the struggles and the hardships of growing up. I mean, as someone who's grown up in the industry, if you could look back at your career and yourself, what are you most proud of yourself for?
That's a hard question for sure. I mean, I owe it all to my parents. I think that that's like a huge deal for sure, and having a good upbringing. People have asked me, how similar I am to Julian, and that could not be the further from the truth. Is that like me and my father are very very close, and so I think what I'm most proud of is just like staying on a straight arrow, because that's very very difficult, and I have found a healthy hobby of doing cars and working on cars. It's very expensive, but it's healthy, and it's better than doing drugs, and so.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure. And so I think staying on that straight path is very difficult. And so I owe that entirely to the people around me. But I'm very, very proud of that. And I guess staying to my roots for sure.
Definitely. It's so hard to stay grounded, but you, of course, have gone through a lot and you're out here doing what you love, especially with cars, which goes into our next question, I believe.
Yeah, I'd love to chat about this marketing campaign that you have taken on for London Calling. Thanks to Quiver Distribution, you and your Half-Torqued team have been working on restoring a 1969 Pontiac Grand Prix similar to the one Josh's character drives in the film.
We are going to be taking this car and turning it into this car in 2 months.
So how's
Yeah.
that project going? And at what point did you become interested in cars? Like, how did that all happen for you?
Yeah, so my car journey began a few years ago. I was not a car guy growing up. My dad kind of was, and so he had some, older Mustangs and Camaros and stuff like that, but it was never really a big deal to me. And then I bought my first car and I went to a drag racing event and I drag raced my own car and I was like, wow, this is now my life. So now that's all I do. And I spend way too much time on it and way too much money on it. The project is going pretty good. We are far from finished, unfortunately. It has to be done by the 15th, and we have to ship it there, and it is a 32-hour drive. So we have to get it finished by like the 10th. I was just working on it a few hours ago. So it is going good, but there is a lot of work to be done for sure, and it's a huge undertaking that we're really excited about it. The whole Half-Torqued team is, but it's been very, very fun, but very, very stressful for sure.
Yeah, I love watching all the videos on Instagram and on social media of the progress and looking at that. I think that's such a cool marketing campaign to get people involved in it that didn't necessarily hear about the movie from other sides. I think that's great to bring in people from that way.
Yeah, for sure. We're trying to kind of bridge the gap between movies and real car enthusiasts because I think a lot of movies claim to be car enthusiasts and then they'll just throw out something that's kind of just like a pat on the back. And I really want car enthusiasts to feel seen during this one and know that we're really putting our own spin on the car and it should be very cool.
Yeah, I think it's great. Now, one of my favorite scenes in the film is when Tommy's teaching Julian, like we were talking about earlier, how to fight in the diner parking lot. The comedy is so effortless. Your chemistry, like I was saying earlier, is so vocal in this scene. Looking back at the whole experience, do you have a favorite day from set, from shooting that kind of comes to mind?
That's very difficult because there was a lot of fun stuff. And Josh is so easy to work with that every day was really awesome. And I'm not blowing smoke. Like Josh was just so incredible to work with. Uh, as far as favorite day goes, it's got to be some kind of action scene for sure. The final sequence was a very, very difficult scene, but it took a while and there was a lot going on. Josh's wife was actually pregnant at the time, and if she gave birth, he was gone. So we had to finish the movie before that happened. Obviously, very important. He should absolutely go home. But that was like something that was right on the cusp of like the wrap of the film and that. And so that was all happening during that final fight sequence. And so that was all kind of insane. And obviously, we're armor crawling. We put my character in short sleeves, which is never a good idea for an action film because you can't hide elbow pads or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I find all that kind of stuff fun. And then the LARPing was obviously insanely awesome because it was so chaotic and they just rolled the camera and let people do their thing. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would definitely be a ticking time bomb for Josh. So I'm glad you got through all
Yes.
that.
Yeah, that was a blessing for sure.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We are getting wrapped, but congratulations on the movie and everything, and we can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.